Hey gardener, so I'm out here today to talk about direct sowing seeds. Seeds that can be direct sown are one of my favorites because you just directly sow them into your soil. So it's not an extra step of having to pick up a transplant from a garden center or to grow your own seedlings to start them off. So today it's for a fall garden, so I'm going to be planting some lettuce and then also some radish seeds. Now my garden I have almost all year round because we keep frost protection on it. So it's actually a little bit later in the fall than you would normally plant these guys, but the ambient temperature and soil temperature is going to be kept up because we have a greenhouse we'll be setting up here in a few weeks. Now you'll notice behind me where I'm planting, we actually have a lot of okra still growing. This is just fine. These guys are tall plants. They're going to provide some shade, but this ground here still gets some dappled sunlight in it. And this is called succession planting. So what it means is by the time this okra gets the first frost here in a few weeks, we'll be removing the okra, and then these guys will be needing more space because they'll be growing in. This helps you get the most of your space. So today, we'll start with our lettuces. These guys are extra small types of lettuces. You can see the tiny Tom Thumb variety, one of my favorite varieties. Delicious little heads of lettuce you can harvest whole. You can also pull some leaves a little bit early if you'd like. And they need about 6 to 8 inches of space. So we've already drawn our lines here. We've removed the mulch and we've tested the soil to be sure that it feels like a good consistency for seed starting. Seeds start in lighter soil that's going to hold moisture better. So if you have really heavy clay soil that's going to kind of weigh your seeds down, you may want to add some seed starting mix on top of this, or a lighter kind of potting soil or something else to give your seeds a better chance of really gripping in and growing healthfully. So we'll make our rows, and you can see here we have about 8 inches, and then between them I am going to be planting my radishes. Radishes only need about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of space between them, so it's a great way to really get the most of your space. In addition, radishes are going to come up in just about 30 to 45 days. This time of year we have shorter days, so it'll take a little bit longer. But by the time those are ready to be harvested, my lettuces are going to need more space. So again, succession planting to get the most from your garden. So I have my rows here. We'll make some rows for the radishes. And then we're going to plant some of our lettuce seeds. So we'll just take a few. Now, what I like to do, if it's a plant like this, it's every 6 to 8 inches, is take 2 or 3 seeds and put them every 6 to 8 inches. That way, if one of the seeds isn't good, you'll still have a good chance of getting a good crop and they'll still be growing. So just sprinkling some lettuces in there. Now, if you are double or triple seeding, be aware you will have to thin them out a little bit probably, but that's okay with me because I'd rather have too many than have a crop that I was anticipating and then not have it come in and have wasted all of that time. So put my extra seeds back in here, and I'll do the same thing with radish seeds as well. Again, these can be planted much more closely together, so trying to assess and measure out how many inches between them. And one more little row here. Perfect. And now I'm going to take a little bit of this soil and just kind of tap it down on top. Just kind of pull it in from the sides. And when you look at the back of your seed packet, it should tell you how much soil they like to have on top of the seeds. That can vary pretty dramatically for each type of seed. So make sure you're paying attention to that, covering it with the proper amount of soil. And then I'll just kind of lightly pat it down. And then in a minute here, I'm going to lightly water. So that way the water gets in there. You want to be sure you're keeping your seeds damp throughout the growing process, because if that little germ pops out and needs water and it's not there, your plant is going to die. So when that first 1/2 inch of soil in this case is starting to feel dry, I'll want to be out here watering. Fortunately, with a winter garden, you don't have to do that as often, but if we have breezy days like this, or in the spring if it starts heating up, you'll want to check more often to be sure you have enough water. Other than that, now we have our seeds directly sown. We'll be waiting for them to pop up, and in about 45 days, we'll be having our first harvest.